Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jenny will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, Jenny Bellinger, your direct sales dom, helping you whip your business into shape. Today, I have with me not one, but two guests, and I am so excited to share them with you. I had the privilege of working with Michelle Wickman and Cheddy Matthews to help them launch their podcast, Winning Inside, in the month of February 2022. And we're actually recording this literally the week that they launched a brand new podcast, and they're really excited. And I can't wait to share them because I had so much fun working with them to launch the podcast that I knew I wanted to share them with you guys. So I am going to let Michelle introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself first, and then we'll have Cheddy introduce himself. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
Yay!
Michelle, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And why did you start the Winning Inside podcast?
Oh my goodness. Okay, 3 questions. I'll try to remember all of them. I am Michelle Wickman. I am a life coach. That's how I really got started and what drew me towards podcasting. I work with high achievers, so entrepreneurs and athletes, both of which are my background. So keep that nice and simple. And really the reason why we started Winning Inside is that we have both gone through quite a bit, like many people. Anybody who's listening right now, honestly, we've had a lot of experiences, traumas, different scenarios that have happened in our past. And we know that it is that inner work that really just keeps you moving forward, one, and then also just completely pushes you up into the stratosphere, depending on what you're willing to do. So doing that inner work and consistently doing that inner work is what's going to keep us moving forward.
I love it. Oh, and I'm so excited. I've already subscribed to your show and I can't wait to listen. So Cheddy, tell us a little bit about your background, because I know a little bit of it, but I'm going to let you share your background and why did you want to start Winning Inside?
Sure. My name is Cheddy Matthews, and I am a leadership and business development and growth strategist and coach. And one of the reasons I started this podcast is the premise of my whole existence is to leave this earth better than I found it. And as Michelle said, there's ways you have to figure out how you're good at doing that. And I realized I enjoy helping people to not only transcend from where they are, but to help them get to where they want to go. So in doing that, this podcast was the way to reach people that we knew and also to reach other people that we didn't know. Because as Michelle alluded to, we have gone through some serious stuff, and let's just call it stuff. And we're not exempt just because we're coaches. We go through life and we have learned some tools and some tricks and some tactics and things that have helped us continue going. And when we say winning inside, we don't necessarily mean winning like we do all these things and we get to a destination. It's really about getting up again. You lost that round, get back in there and go for the next one. You're okay, you didn't, that lap was a little slow, let's do another one. It's about getting back up and keeping going. It's winning those little victories of waking up and doing that thing you didn't want to do, and just always looking for the W's in your life. When you have a significant negative traumatic event, you focus on that negative thing. So let's just try and get people back on the good side of the things that they're doing well. So I just want to see people grow. And a lot of that comes from me being a Marine, an entrepreneur, a speaker, teacher, and coach. All those things have come together. All my life journey has brought me to this place where I can help more people on this platform.
I love this because, and what's great about this and why I wanted you guys on my podcast, which is all about direct sales, network marketing, and MLM professionals, and also other entrepreneurs who do happen to listen because they're like, business is business is business. It doesn't matter what your model is, right? Is because in entrepreneurship especially, it doesn't matter what business model you have, you are going to get kicked, trampled, stomped on. You're going to have bad things happen to you. You're going to have amazing things happen to you. You're going to have, like, this is a roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship and being able to take a look at the different things that you guys are sharing with your clients on how they can reframe mindset or however it is that you work with them. So let's delve into that. And you guys pick who's going to answer this question because I don't really know who to ask of this one.
I'm going to leave it to Michelle because I call Michelle the soul whisperer. She'll give me the stink eye when I say it. She'll give me like a side eye. But I tell you, she has a way of asking questions in a way that is disarming. She gets right to the core she gets to the core of the matter, but does it in a compassionate and safe way where you actually start answering. And you may get triggered, but she has a way of working that. And she's so skillful at working with you in that vulnerable space for the growth. So I'm going to let Michelle go. Start the show, Michelle. This is all you.
So she's like, all right, so what's the question? Yeah. So yeah, what's the question? Yeah, I'm kind of in my head going, what is the question? Because I tend to formulate them as we go along. Because guys, you don't have to be perfect to be a podcaster.
Isn't it beautiful?
Thank goodness.
I love it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I have that qualification down. Imperfect, I'm there.
No, so let's start with that. One of the things that I know and I've seen happen time and time again in the world of direct sales and network marketing is someone gets into it, they're super excited, they fall in love with this product or the service that their company is offering.
Yes.
And they get their first no, and their balloon goes from totally full to completely deflated. In one no.
Yes.
Right. Which I can understand because not everybody's used to hearing no, and they think just because they feel passionate about it, others are going to feel passionate about it.
Yes.
How do they reinflate that balloon or get back on the horse or jump back into the boxing ring and get back at it? Like, what are some of the tips and tricks that you work with, Michelle, to help people understand how to do that?
So I actually was an MLM as well. And I know Cheddy was too. And so, so we actually have a background in this. Nice. And I also want to say that I was in sales for many, many years. And the reason is because I was a competitive athlete for many years. And I didn't know how to transition out of that and into the corporate world. And I thought, well, I like being competitive. So competition and sales to me were very similar. Exactly. They just married seamlessly. So it was a matter of identifying, what are the measurements, like what are the numbers that I want to hit? And I don't get attached and I don't get married to any one of those wins or losses because they're just numbers on the board, just like in a game. If the other team scores a point, I'm not like, oh, I'm walking off the court now. It's a long game. You got the rest of the game to go. You got halftime. You have plenty of time to continue to build on that experience and build on the wins and build on the losses. And just really, Cheddy spoke to it earlier, this entire thing that you're doing, this entire business that you're running, this baby that you're creating, it's an experience. It's a journey. So every time you get that no, it's like, okay, what can I learn from that? And sometimes it's nothing. It was just a no, and that's okay. And then what can I learn from the wins? What can I learn from the yeses? What would I do differently? What could I do better? What would I change? What worked? What didn't work? Ask yourself these questions, and then it's on to the next one. So I just, a lot of it is just not getting attached, right? And knowing that there's a certain number of calls I want to make or touches I want to make with, people that I've had parties with last time, and just staying connected to them, but not getting attached to the results that I don't have control over. Because I truly don't have control over the word yes or no that comes out of their mouth.
Right.
No.
Right.
It's true. It's interesting you say that, Michelle, because there's two things you have control over, your attitude and your activity. And somebody else's yes or no doesn't fall into either of those. So all you can do is show up and be the best version of yourself at that time. Just be present in that moment. And a no isn't necessarily a no to you. You got to realize they're saying no to whatever you're presenting at that time. But where are they? Where are they? They could be having a bad day. They could be just so distracted. This could be so far off of their scope right now that they're just not in that space. And if you caught them maybe the day earlier, later on in the day, they could be like receptive to your message. So it's not a no against you. A no is just a really N-O parentheses T, not, as in not right now sometimes. And if we recircle, if we go back and we hit them a few more times, maybe they'll say yes. Maybe they're ready for that conversation. And a no is not always a final no. It's really a not now. And then sometimes you can tell the difference between a not now and a go away, don't ever call me back and leave me alone. But you cannot attach your self-worth to that no, because we've said no to many people, and we didn't do it with the intent of destroying someone's psyche or messing up their whole world view. We just said no because we really weren't interested at that time, because maybe we were so busy thinking about groceries, picking up children from school, doing other things that was just not in their purview at that moment.
Yeah, because you just never know what's going on in somebody's life that they're not sharing on social media, right? There's so much going on. I love that you can control your attitude and your activity. Brilliant. All right. By the way, guys, so that's the title of the episode. Hey, winning inside with attitude and activity. Because I am going to promote your podcast in the title of this episode as well, because that's really important. Hey, I'm a marketing person. I got it. So
we appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, absolutely. Because hello, you guys have been amazing. I've so loved working with you. I want to share you with the whole world. Seriously. So now we've talked about that, dealing with the deflation of a no, whether it's your first no, your 10th no. Because some people are like, okay, I knew I was going to get a no. And then they get their second one. They're like, okay, I knew I was going to get that one too. Okay, and interestingly enough, one of the things I used to, or one of the biggest aha moments I had in one of the trainings that I went to when I was still active in my direct sales business, was when you're creating a list of people to go talk to, put them into 3 categories. Put them into one category of the people who you are absolutely certain are going to say no. No to buying, no to having a party, no to the business opportunity, whatever your reason for reaching out to them. In that first category, you know they're going to say no, put them in there and call them anyway. Next category are the maybes, the people who you're like, maybe they will, maybe they won't. And the last one are the yeses. And the aha moment for me was when the trainer said, start with the no's. Now, Michelle's nodding her head right now. You guys can't see this because it's a podcast. Michelle's nodding her head. Michelle, why do we start with the no list first?
Well, to be quite honest, I'm not exactly sure what you're going to say, but I start with the no's because, one, in my mind, I'm preparing myself for the no. I'm ready for it. And it doesn't hurt that bad, right? And you realize that you're going to survive, and you just pick up the phone and you make the next call, or you compose the next email, or whatever that looks like. You will survive the no's. I actually say strive for about 50 no's. Go for the 50th no. Right? Yeah. That's how deep you want to go in that list. Go for the 50th no. And then get that one yes. And we celebrate that like it's, New Year's and the 4th of July and your birthday all wrapped into one. Yes. Just do it all.
Exactly.
So, and you will survive. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't destroy you. And what Cheddy said, it's your attitude and activity, right? One thing you asked, you don't have to make it mean anything about you. That's what Cheddy was alluding to. Right. A no means nothing about you.
Yep, exactly.
It's not personal.
Exactly. Now the converse.
That is so exciting.
I know. And now the converse part of that too, or the other reason why you start with the no's, is because when you go into it sure that they're going to say no, and you get someone who says yes from the no list, what's your reaction?
Super
shock
positive.
And surprise.
Shock,
and
surprise, yeah, all those
people
good
really
things.
Want this. People really like this. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, if you start with your yes list and you get a no, that's the balloon deflated.
There goes the balloon.
Right? So start with your no list, because the people on your list may surprise you and you may get a yes. But if you got 50, if you made a list of 50 names of people you are sure going to say no and you got 50 no's, you knew that was going to happen. You're like, yes, I just practiced the conversation 50 times.
Exactly.
Woo, woo, right?
It's funny. And there's points that none of you have mentioned, but I'm going to tap into this. Just think about this for a point. in the Marine Corps, we would do a thing called body hardening, where we would hit each other, just stand there, and a partner would just hit each other in the arms and the legs and the body. And the reason you do that so many times in the beginning was because after a while, it kind of deadens that sensitivity, that pain response. So you start getting hit and you don't even notice you're getting hit. Well, think about it in the context of no's. If you get that many no's in the beginning, they have less of an effect on you because you've had them in the beginning. But beyond that, you're also practicing your pitch, your tempo, your messaging, your response to objections, and you're doing all these things without even knowing it. So you're actually honing your craft and getting better with each of the no's. So when you get to people that may be a richer pool, more qualified pool, boom, your message, your delivery is so much better than if it was the first one you had delivered. So it's a win all around to start with the no's. I love that, starting with no's.
Yeah.
Could be a book title.
Well, there is one out there called Go for No. So
That's true.
Yeah, Go for No, which it's interesting because I've talked to other direct sales coaches who are like, I do not believe in doing that. I don't believe in going for no. I don't because they have a different way of
and that's okay.
Right. They have a different way of believing it and a different way of pursuing those yeses and
Yes.
building business. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting used to that, because I think the point is, just like you were saying, Cheddy, to practice the conversation. And
Yes.
I call it the conversation because if you make it be a pitch, it's going to be a pitch, and nobody likes to be sold. Everybody likes to buy, because we'll talk about, guess what I just bought today? And raise your hand. And I know, listener, that I can't see you, but I know what your answer is going to be. Raise your hand if you ever went and said, oh my God, you'll never guess what somebody sold me today. Nobody,
okay,
right?
I'm lying. Okay.
Nobody.
I just wanted to be that one.
Yeah, I know. But nobody ever said in the history of the world, in the history of the universe, said, guess what somebody sold me today?
Yeah.
Nobody. It's always about what we bought. It's about us, right? So it's got to be a conversation. So let's take this back to that conversation and the getting past all of those no's and winning inside, right? So we're,
Yes.
we're building up over time. We're getting those little W's and adding up to the big W's.
Yes.
And I have no idea where I'm going with that. So
Well, I
I'm
actually
really
had
ready.
one.
metaphor for life.
There's one instance where I get sold, and
Yeah.
I will cop to it.
Uh-huh.
Girl Scout cookies. I'm not
Yes.
going to lie, because Lord knows I don't need any more of those. But every time I see one of those faces, I'm like, okay.
Okay, little Susie, I'll take 7 boxes.
So I will cop to being sold Girl Scout cookies. And that's it.
Truth. But still,
That's not fair. That's not fair.
But
There's a
here's the
cuteness
thing.
factor. Not fair.
But well, keep in mind too, though. But keep in mind, yes, they are selling the cookies. But when you tell people, what do you say? You don't say some Girl Scout sold me 17 boxes today. You go, I bought
100%
17
do.
boxes.
I do. Because I don't want to take ownership for choosing to buy 17 boxes of cookies. All right. That's the bottom line.
I love it.
I understand what
most
you're saying, though.
mortals,
You are absolutely
minus
spot
Michelle.
on. Yeah. No, you are absolutely spot on with that saying, walking around saying, oh, guess what I sold or was sold today. But again, I don't necessarily want to take responsibility for buying those 17 boxes. So we're going to say she sold me, and she was
Yes.
good at it. So
Exactly. And really one of the most interesting compliments I ever got, and it happened time and again, was people and I want to move this from the sales portion into the recruiting, business opportunity type conversations, was, you're so good at sales. I could never do what you do. Right. And I'm like, did I ever sell you anything? Right. So let's speak to that and where you guys see that coming into an entrepreneur's mindset of not selling, but knowing that your position is a sales position.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach that?
Well, it's interesting because in our world, sometimes when you talk about closing a sale, I may call that really a commitment more than a close, because for me, it's the beginning of the journey minus the end. And sometimes a close sounds like we're done. There's no relationship beyond you. But a lot of times you want a continued relationship. So really it's just getting a commitment to that relationship. So, and not only that, if you have a service or a product or anything that is good and is going to add value to someone's life, I would say you have a moral obligation to share that with the people who you potentially need it. And if you think about it as you're providing a service, something of value to people of value, you're going to give that to them. You really are. It just changes the way you do things. But in our minds, when we think of salespeople, we don't think of the great salespeople, the good people, we think of Joey Suzu. We think of someone who's grimy. We add this negative connotation to the word sales, which it really isn't. I mean, they have a good or service and you probably need that good or service. And they're just brokering that exchange to better your life or make you happy or to change your state from benign to happy, from happy to elevated, whatever it is. They're just here to provide something that you need. And you're that conduit for that. Somebody needs you.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a great voice?
I love it. I love it. It's so fun. Yes, you do.
My voice is being sold on podcasts for $2.99.
So I always look at it as when the pitch is really an offer, right? Yes. So we've discussed what we'd like to offer versus what I'm trying to sell you. And exactly what you said, Cheddy, you're offering a service or a good, right? And there are reasons behind why you think it would be a good fit. But those reasons were part of the conversation that you've already had. So Jenny, you're so great at being conversational with people. And that's really where the quote unquote sales process occurs, is in a casual conversation. And we are the listeners of the other people, of the people that we are connecting with, right? So it's more about asking questions than telling them how it's going to benefit them and telling them why they should do it. It's asking them, what do you think, this could mean for your life? What could this create for you? What is it that you're looking to get into now, so that you're really clear on where to even ask those questions and help get them to really see their connection on their own between how this good or service is going to fit into their life.
And it's funny, when you said that, Michelle, I don't know if you heard it, Jenny, but when you talked about telling people, it felt like it felt forceful. Even as you said, I felt this level of force. And when you talked about asking questions, I felt this level of ease. One repelled me and one actually drew me into my microphone closer and closer, which is strange because it drew me in. So it's interesting how our minds work. But if you try to force things on people, force meets force, it kind of repels. But if you do what you did, you open the opportunity for them to see the opportunity and walk into that thing. Now they're like, give me my, take all my money, take it, just take it. But it was interesting how you did that and made me feel at ease in the process. I didn't feel like I was getting sold. I felt like I was broken in a partnership for something that I wanted, which is great.
Right. And in the world of sales, right, the greatest salespeople talk less than the person that they are selling to. Like, by a lot less, because what they're doing is they're doing exactly what Michelle talked about, which is they're asking questions about the other person. Because how do you find out whether or not they need your product or service? You have to know questions. You have to ask them questions and know what they're reporting about themselves. And when you can know what questions to ask, because that's the next piece, is you've got to know what questions to ask that leads people down the path towards you understanding whether or not this product or service is something that they might need. Because if we go into every conversation believing that everybody needs this, and I see this happen in BNI all the time, whether it's, and I'm sorry to any chiropractors who maybe listen or hairstylists who maybe listen. It's just, I hear it more often from those two categories of entrepreneurs than anywhere else. I can help anybody with a spine. I can help anybody with hair.
I'm feeling offended. I have no hair. I'm not sure where it's going.
Right? And so that when you go into it going, I can help everybody. Everybody needs my service. Well, guess what? That's nobody. Yes.
Everybody is nobody.
Exactly. What happens psychologically? What happens in the minds of people when they hear, I can help everybody?
I feel like a minion when that happens. It devalues me as a human being. Like, well, because first of all, I'll say, well, who's everybody? Because that's not me. And I've shut you off. We are done here. Mm-hmm. I'm closed off because I'm looking around me to see who the everybody is because it's not me. I keep moving. You have lost me.
Yeah.
Well, there's no personal connection either, right? So, and I know even within a podcast, even within our podcast, we have our individual businesses and we work with a niche, if you will.
Mhm.
And yet there are other people outside of that still resonate with what we say. And Jenny, I know that's the same thing. Dear listener, you may not be within her specified niche, but you're here for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And it's because you resonate, but we're going to continue to speak with that specific individual. But it resonates so strongly with that person that they are truly drawn to proactively reach out to you.
Yes. Exactly. And that's the key is when you really begin. And I'm going to share something that I learned from working with my own referral coach. Because yes, I have a coach who taught me how to get referrals and how to network properly because I screwed it up in the beginning too. But the one thing I learned from that I can share with everybody is that your group of people that you're going to sell to the most easily. And I literally do mean sell to the most easily because they will connect with you are the people who are having the same challenges that you had when you started on your product or service, right? So Michelle said, I was having I'm an athlete and you're very competitive. And so an entrepreneur, so that's who she works with. Ding, right?
Pretty much.
I'm a mom who was in direct sales. So who do I work with? Direct sales moms. Oh my God. Now, people ask me the question, well, do you work with direct sales dads? Yes. Do you work with moms who aren't in direct sales? Yes. But it's all about, are we energetically aligned? Do we have other things in common? Do I believe that I'm the best possible coach for whomever this is? Because the number one industry that I refer to the most are other coaches.
Yeah.
As a whole, because I'm not always the best person for the job. If people come to me and go, oh my gosh, my kid so needs you. They need direction in their life. And I feel like you give that to people. And I'm like, yeah, if they're in business, I don't work with high schoolers and college people. I know this. Here, let me give you the name of this other guy, right? Mm-hmm. Now I know if someone comes to me and they're an athlete and they want to improve performance or they want to deal with Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle, I don't do that. Not my thing, right? Or the entrepreneur. Again, it's all about getting to know the people who are in your network, right?
Correct.
But when you're selling a product or service, knowing who you were when you started is who you're selling to now. That's who you should be looking for. Not everybody, but the people who look just like you. So I'm working with moms who were trying to replace their income, right? Because that's where I was when I started in direct sales, was I needed to replace an income because I wanted to stay at home.
Well, there's an adage that goes out there where people say, there are riches in niches. If you haven't heard it, put it in your pocket, use it because it's a good one. There are absolutely riches in niches. And people always think, but I'm leaving people on the table. They weren't yours in the first place, A. And if you focus on that shotgun message, you don't hit the people that really want your message. Make your message sticky to the people that want to be stuck. So talk to an individual person and then you will find those individual people and they'll resonate with you, vice everybody, and nobody gets the message or your message is so lukewarm to the masses that you get no traction. And I'm saying that to everyone, but I'm actually saying that to myself. So Cheddy, take note of that.
That's our phrase. We tell that to each other all the time. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to me. This is the bottom line, because we need the reminder too. I have a coach. Coaches have coaches, right? It helps us stay focused and helps us stay aligned. And really, if I didn't believe in it, then why am I in this industry? Right? So that's the bottom line. Like, we actually believe in the work because we have had transformation from this, right? And Jenny, because you were able to get to the place that you needed to be financially, this is why you started it. I have the visual of somebody climbing a little 6 foot, 8 foot wall, and then turning around and helping somebody else up over the wall.
How powerful.
And that is the visual that I always have in my brain to remind myself that we're not just doing this to elevate ourselves, but we do this to elevate other people who are looking up and they're looking for that way, right? They need to figure out how to get up over this barrier, and we have figured it out. So,
Yes.
and again, when I say we have figured it out, it is an ongoing journey. Don't get me wrong. I
Continuous.
do not want to put it out there that exactly what Cheddy said.
Yeah.
It is not a destination. It is a consistent journey. This is why we have coaches ourselves. This is why we work in collaboration with other coaches. We have these different groups that we connect with to stay on top of our game and to keep us accountable.
Yes. I love this.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're at the point now where we're going to wrap this up. And oh God, I feel like I could talk to you guys forever. So I want to have you back.
Forever.
Forever. I want to have you guys back. But until then, if one of my listeners right now, I do call my listeners call themselves the Badass Crew. If someone from the Badass Crew wanted to reach out to you guys, connect with you guys to learn more about the podcast, learn more about what you do, how they could maybe work with you, what services, products that you guys might have, how would you like them to reach out to you? Michelle?
Oh, I'm passing to Cheddy.
To Cheddy. Okay. Yeah.
I caught the ball, got it, tucked it, and I'm running. And the best way to reach out to us would be winninginside.io. That is our website, and it connects to our social media, and it's a great way to contact us. And if you want to focus on speaking to Michelle, just put Michelle in the subject line. Cheddy, put Cheddy in the subject line. And if it's anybody, just let us know, and we'll reach out back to you. Stay amazing, folks, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely. So again, if you guys want to reach out to Michelle and or Cheddy, you want to talk to them both, maybe you want to be on their show. Who knows? Because they're looking for guests. Please reach out. You're going to go to winninginside.io. And if you want to reach out to them, just click on the contact form in order to get a hold of them. So thank you guys so much for volunteering to come be on my show, because I really wanted to share your message, because I truly had an amazing time getting to work with you guys.
And I want to thank you as well. And Jenny, you are phenomenal. What you did to get us off the ground so fast is mind-boggling. I'm telling you, audience, everyone out there, Jenny has got the goods. So if you're looking for a coach, Jenny is that person. I mean, what she did for us in less than a month is mind-blowing. I still can't believe it's been less than a month and we are live and we are up and running. So heart emoji, I can't do that heart thing. I try. My kids always laugh at me. But big love and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you
Thank
guys.
you, Jenny. He said it all, truly.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I'll pay you later. The check's in the mail. No, I so appreciate it. So, Badass Crew, thank you again for being here. And again, if you want to know exactly how to reach Michelle and or Cheddy, we do have the link in our show notes. If this is your first time listening to the show, what you're going to do is grab your phone, as long as you're not driving, click on the episode, scroll up, and you will see the link, winninginside.io. And you can just click that right there and go check out their website, go check out their podcast, listen in, because they are brilliant to listen to. I've already rated and reviewed your show based on what I've heard so far. Love it, love it, love it. And Badass Crew, you guys know how it goes. Stay tuned, because there is another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jenny Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast, so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.